The sun rises over the coastal outpost, casting long shadows across a landscape that is deceptively peaceful. This facility, heavily fortified with armor and transport logistics, sits in silence, but it is the silence before a storm. On the high ridge overlooking the ocean, the threat reveals itself not as a tactical unit, but as a force of nature. Thousands of infected figures crest the hill, silhouetted against the morning sky, a single, unified organism driven by insatiable hunger. As the perimeter guards spot the movement, the alarm is raised, and the stillness of the morning shatters. The Horde does not march, it sprints, a terrifying avalanche of flesh cascading down the steep incline with reckless abandon. Down below, the soldiers scramble from their posts, rushing past fuel trucks and barriers to establish a firing line, knowing that if they fail to hold this road, the facility behind them will be overrun in seconds. The first volley of rifle fire cracks through the air, a rhythmic staccato that signals the beginning of the engagement. Tracers burn through the daylight, cutting into the front ranks of the sprinting mob, but for every target that drops, 3 more trample over the fallen to take their place. Recognizing that small arms fire alone cannot stem this tide, the heavy armor begins to engage. The ground shakes as the M1 Abrams tanks and LAV-25 carriers swivel their turrets, turning their main cannons toward the hillside. The impact is devastating. High explosive rounds detonate within the dense center of the swarm, sending bodies cartwheeling hundreds of feet into the air in a grotesque display of physics. The sheer kinetic energy of the heavy weaponry turns the hillside into a chaotic kill zone, yet the swarm continues its mindless charge, indifferent to the destruction raining down upon them. The battle reaches a fever pitch as the Horde hits the valley floor, funneling toward the asphalt road which has become a choke point of death. Humvees with mounted heavy machine guns unleash continuous streams of fire, the barrels glowing hot as gunners desperately try to thin the herd. Infantrymen armed with shoulder-mounted rocket launchers step forward, firing explosive ordnance point-blank into the wall of enemies. The air fills with thick, choking dust and black smoke, obscuring vision and turning the battlefield into a claustrophobic nightmare. Despite the overwhelming firepower, the infected manage to close the distance, forcing the soldiers to give ground tactically. It is a war of attrition now. The green grass of the countryside is rapidly disappearing beneath a colorful, macabre carpet of the eliminated, transforming the geography of the battlefield into a graveyard. As the minutes drag on, the unrelenting firepower finally begins to overcome the sheer numbers of the attackers. The deafening roar of continuous combat starts to fragment into sporadic bursts of gunfire as the last pockets of resistance are targeted near the tree line. A final, earth-shattering explosion clears the remaining stragglers, leaving a ringing in the ears of the survivors. The smoke begins to drift out toward the sea, revealing the staggering scale of the carnage. The road and the surrounding hills are completely paved with the aftermath of the assault. The soldiers lower their weapons, walking cautiously among the mounds of the fallen, checking for movement in the stillness. What began as a defensive hold has ended in total annihilation of the enemy. As the camera pulls back, showing the thousands of neutralized targets stretching to the horizon, the reality of the simulation sets in. The line was held, but the cost of ammunition and the sheer intensity of the fight serves as a grim reminder of the overwhelming power of the Horde.